it's Angie with News OK.
And Becky.
And she is our recipe for health food columnist for the Oklahoman and a registered dietitian. Summertime is a great time to have brunch. I would definitely say, especially a healthy brunch. What are we doing today?
Well, let me tell you what we're doing. We're fixing a wonderful, low-fat, very healthy brunch, but we are doing it in a slow cooker, Angie, so that it doesn't get the kitchen hot.
Wow.
And, you know, a lot of times people think about using slow cookers when it's cold weather for a really hot meal in the evening, and they're great for that, but there are other purposes too, and this is one of them. So what we're going to start with today, we're going to take our slow cooker and we're going to spray it with a nonstick spray, and just get a good spray there. And today we are actually using eggs. However, if someone wanted to reduce the fat further, reduce the cholesterol further, they could use one of the fat-free egg substitutes. Would work just as well. We are using 6 eggs. You would use the equivalent of 6 eggs if that's what you chose to do.
So you just mix it up.
Yes, and it works well to use either a fork or a whisk for that.
Okay.
And then we have sausage. Now, this sausage is 2/3 less fat.
Wow.
It's pre-cooked in the links, and I've chopped it up.
Okay.
You could also, if people would prefer, they can use the raw ground sausage. That's the either half the fat or 2/3 less fat. You can get them like that. Cook it and drain it and use that. It's a personal preference, whichever they would prefer.
Sure.
But this is actually a little bit simpler because you don't have to go through that step of cooking it.
That is nice.
Just want it in little pieces about like so.
Okay.
And then we're going to go ahead and add our 1.5 cups of skim milk. We'll mix that in there. And then a teaspoon of mustard. I'm just using prepared mustard, but you can use Dijon. They could use a spicy mustard, use a little more if they wanted a little bit more flavor in there. So that's just whatever people...
Depending on your taste.
Exactly. And then the 2% or the cheese that's made with 2% fat milk. So it's about half the fat.
Okay.
And you can either use a cheddar grated or you can use one of the mixes like the Monterey Jack cheddar mix or whatever. And I'm going to just stir this up here.
Oh.
Very simple to fix. And just a minute or two. And then we'll add our cubed bread. And Angie, this is one of the times with our bread cubes, I've just used plain white bread.
Okay.
You know, we always talk about high
whole grain.
and the whole grains. In this particular recipe, it's better to use the bread because it just gives it a nicer texture. And I have taken 8 pieces of white bread. I've taken the crust off and just cut them in about 1/2-inch squares. Or if you end up with small crumbs, that's fine too, but you won't want really big pieces.
Right.
Because the bread just disappears in the cooking and makes it very fluffy. And
Is that tough to cut, that bread?
no, actually, I stacked 8 pieces of bread together, and then I divided it into 2 stacks of 4 each, with one cut each side of the bread crusts off, and then cubed it.
Oh, great.
So, and we've got this all mixed.
Ooh, that's already looking good.
Yeah, isn't this easy?
Yeah.
And I'm going to just pour it in
Okay.
our slow cooker. And let me show you here so that you can see. We're going to just even this out a little bit, flatten it there. You can see when we get it back flat down, I think it'll look real even, and it's liquidy enough. And then we're going to sprinkle, we have a cup of the part skim mozzarella grated cheese, and we'll sprinkle this. And it's better to actually do this with a utensil or your fingers, not just to dump it in, because you want to be sure you get it very smooth and even, because this will help to form the crust on top.
Okay.
And we want that to be even. And so we'll get all of our cheese in here. And once again, people could use, if they had a different type of cheese that they wanted to use, they could do that. But I think that this makes a real pretty
Oh, it looks good.
great. All we need to do now is put it in our slow cooker. And let's see here. We'll set this right here and turn it on high. And if you want to put the lid on, thank you, Angie. And we'll cook this on high for 2 hours. And then we will turn it down to low, cook it 1 more hour, and it'll come out being just perfect.
I bet. We'll see you in a little bit. Okay, well, this is our final product, but tell us, after the 2 hours of being in the slow cooker.
Okay, we cooked it on high for 2 hours and then turned the burner down to low for 1 hour. So it cooked a total of 3 hours in the slow cooker. And then if you need to wait just a little while before you actually serve it, if your guests aren't all there yet, you can just turn it on warm and keep it like that for a while, which is another advantage of cooking this way when you're entertaining. But we just took the casserole out and put it on our pan. What I have done is garnished it with rolls. You could do some type of a biscuit. You could do the small petite bagels, anything like that. Or you could do sliced tomatoes, raw vegetables, things like that. Just kind of whatever your theme is going to be. I do want to give people a little hint. If your casserole, when you take it out, if it cracks a little bit, you can just sprinkle a tiny bit more mozzarella cheese on. It will melt and nobody will ever know but you.
Oh, that is perfect, especially for someone like me who is not as skilled as you in the kitchen. I probably would need that tip. And obviously, these are great. I love this being around it, and so it makes for a great brunch.
Well, thank you. I think that they'll be easy for people to fix and nice and summery.
Yes, definitely. So check out this recipe in the Oklahoman in the Life section under Becky Varner's Recipe for Health. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angie.